Megan Hicks of I Run Far, and I'm with Jeff Browning. He's the champion of the 2018 Hardrock 100 Endurance Run. Good morning, Jeff. Is that title starting to sink in?
Sort of. It's a little weird still, but it's cool.
How are you feeling? You finished, 20?
26:20.
Yeah, a little under 12 hours ago now, 24 hours ago now.
Yeah. I'm starting to perk up a little bit. I got some sleep now.
Okay.
Yesterday we were a little hammered, but
100 miles through the San Juan Mountains, average altitude of 11,000 feet. Let's just start with that. That's some hard stuff.
yeah, it's a hard race. I think it's hard because you can't only push so hard at altitude, and so time between aid stations is slower, and you're just like, where's that aid station? It's got to be here somewhere. But overall, it's such a pretty course that I don't know. I think you forget about the punishing part of the course pretty quickly. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, really from the get-go, simultaneously punishing but exquisite. Your first climb is out the long Bear Creek drainage to the Putnam Lime Creek Bear Creek saddle. Being up there is, like the top of the world, basically.
Yeah, it is really a pretty course, and I always like the coming off of Handy's and going up in American Basin, like right at dusk. Ricky Gates was playing in his accordion, so I did a little jig. I think I'm the only person that did. He said I was the only person that did a jig. No one else danced. They just looked at him weird.
You were happy because you were climbing Handy's Peak and because the thunderstorm that was there was going away.
Moved out. It was so good. I came into the grouse with my jacket on, hood up. It was raining, and the thunder was coming over the ridge, and then it kind of came into us. And right when I got to the aid station, it started pouring, and I crewed inside so I didn't have to get wet. And then I went out with rain gear on, but right as I was going up grouse, like everything kind of blew out fast. It came in like lightning, thunder, boom, 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 boom. And then it was like this rainbow as I was going up grouse. It was like, I won't get you this time. Just 2014. But remember who's boss.
Yeah. Mother Nature is boss out here.
Yeah, totally.
Let's back up and talk a little bit more about Mother Nature. Yesterday, or rather Friday, was fairly hot also.
Yeah, it was hot and muggy going down into, we had some cloud cover and sprinkles going up to Virginius, but then coming down Campbird Road, it was hot, it almost always is. And Uray's always like a hot pocket down there.
Yeah.
So coming up out of Bear Creek, it's always hot. Like I was carrying a filter, like a soft flask filter on top of what I was carrying.
To drink more water.
Yeah, so I could just dip on the side creeks and then just drink extra water. That's how I get up to Engineers, that, not having to carry 4 bottles or something. I think I drank 2 liters.
On that 8 miles.
Yeah, on that section. Or maybe 2.5 liters. So a lot of water. It took a lot of water right there. It's always super hot there.
I think
logistics are weird there too.
This course direction, I think that could be one of the trickiest parts because you're about halfway through the race, hottest part of the day.
I think that's one of the harder sections to get through and not get really dehydrated, and because by that time too, the sun's hitting us because it's kind of west facing, so you're in the sun. Down below Yellow Jacket Mine or whatever that building is.
You're just baking in that canyon a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's talk a little bit about the dynamics of the men's race. I think from the get-go you were basically in second and you kind of had a long tail of dudes behind you. Yeah,
and I in the night after Sherman, I was kind of on pace I was shooting to break my own record again. And I was on pace for it, but then I came across out of Sherman. You come up out of Sherman and you cross a creek, and then you go up this drainage and up and over to Cataract Lake. And that section, in my head, I couldn't, even though this is the 3rd time going this direction, it's Hardrock and it's late and you're
nighttime.
Oxygen debt and at altitude. And so it just didn't look right. And I was and I hadn't seen a flag for a long time. And I was went up over the top, and then I probably was 60 meters from a flag. One. Later, I figured that out. But I was got to that point where it was the decision time. I was I got to go back to the last flag. So I backtracked, which was all the way down to the creek, which was probably I don't know, maybe three or 4 miles.
Okay.
You know, I don't know for sure. I haven't looked at my like data yet.
Yeah, I went back and looked at your GPS tracked. It looked like you backtracked about 1 1/3 miles till you must have seen a flag.
1 1/3. There you go.
Yeah.
Hardrock, it seems like 2 miles.
Well, yeah, in like road miles, it's like a half hour.
So
right?
I went way down. I walked around. I like looked for flags, had high beam on, you know, and kind of did some back and forth, like 50, 60 meters. And then finally I was standing on a rock and I saw Troy coming up the creek bed with his pacer, and I yelled at him, "Who is that?" And he goes, "It's Troy." He's like, "Do you have flags?" I'm like, "I can't freaking find the course. I think I'm off." And so, you know, then I was like, "Oh man, there went my hour on third." And that was like, and there goes the record.
Yeah.
So at that point I was kind of I burned a lot of matches there, because then I was like, okay, I got to surge a little to get him off. I don't want him like getting contact.
Right.
So I pushed a little bit, and then I didn't find out about what everything else until Cunningham.
Yeah.
Then I was in the lead.
Yeah. So it's about mile 75 where you spend some time wasting time looking for course markings. You find Troy Howard. You guys get a gap. You get a gap on him again, but it's not by a lot. Like on the tracker, it kind of looks like at times you must be able to see each other.
I could see his light in certain places, especially going up that long, like slow climb up over down to Maggie's.
Okay.
And I was timing coming out of Maggie's, like how far back is he? So I looked at my watch when I left the aid station, watched him come down into the aid station when I saw him leave the aid station, because you could see when you're climbing that big wall. And
giving you something to entertain yourself with too.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there he was like 11 minutes behind me or something. Yeah.
And then the next guy behind him at that point, Jeff Rome, was not that many minutes behind. Could you see him too?
I saw another light.
Okay.
And I didn't realize he came on strong.
He did come on strong.
He was on my tail going up Little Giant after Cunningham.
He was on your tail.
Yeah, I mean, I could see him down the switchbacks. But I was like, if I can get to the top first, you're not going to catch me. There's no way.
I just have to get up this climb.
Yep, that's all I was. I don't know. I think I climbed okay there.
Okay.
Yeah, but I definitely came down fast. Like he said I was already out of sight by the time he hit the top and could look over. So, because I didn't look back, I did a couple of like quick ones, but like I couldn't see anything, and you'd have to stop and like scan everything.
Yeah.
So I just kept rolling. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about like that whole scene at Cunningham. You're basically spending the whole race thinking you're running in second, and you're thinking, first place is quite a distance in front of you, whereas third place is not so far behind you. So I can imagine you're thinking more about the people behind you.
That's where I was. I wanted second. I knew that Xavier had a good lead, and all the reports. I mean, I had some reports that he was looking a little hammered in a couple spots, so that was like, oh, maybe he'll falter. But it's 100. You run against, especially Hardrock, you run against the course.
Yep.
Like, so it's section at a time, the best you can do that section in, and do your best, right? Even if you have to backtrack 1.3 miles, right?
Yeah.
So do extra credit. So like, so it plays out. That's ultras, and it's always, you just run a race, and at some point, sometimes opportunities are presented, and this one opportunity was presented, and that's what racing is about.
Yeah.
Like, is managing everything and doing everything, the best you can, and then sometimes you get gifts.
I want to know what.
I feel like it's a gift.
Yeah.
That's how I'm kind of looking at it.
I want to know what went through your head though when you drop into Cunningham Gulch. This is the last aid station of the race. It's mile 91.
I'm worried about the guy behind me.
Yeah. And somebody tells you you're now leading Hardrock.
I was like, what? Wait, what?
Yeah.
And there was no time for explanation because I've got someone right behind me. And at that point, all of a sudden you're like, the race completely dynamic changes and your mentality changes when you're presented with something like that, because you have to roll with whatever, obstacles or opportunities happen. Right. So that's what I did. I mean, I came in and I was like, oh, well, this totally different. I had a full plan coming in there, what I wanted to do, like logistics with my crew guy, and like turned around and like was like, well, nope, put 2 gels, shed all the weight, go. And so that's what I did,
you had said to one of our reporters earlier in the race that you could feel Western States in your legs. Mile 91, you find out you're in the lead of the race. You've got
You forget about Western States really quickly.
you forget about it quick.
Yes.
Your legs were okay.
Yeah, they came around.
You could do them. You could.
It's
use
funny
them.
that way. The mind is pretty tricky. That's the one thing ultra running has taught me is, as you know, know, right? The mind is a tricky thing.
How
it has a lot of control over the body.
Yeah, exactly. How related the mind-body connection really is.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you, I saw you go up Cunningham, Little Giant. That's a really steep climb. It's 2,600 feet in less than 2 miles. You were hammering.
I was like, this is just execute it. just breathe hard. Worry about it later. You know. I would feel bad if I hadn't given it.
All.
Yeah, you have to kind of just do the best you can and where you are there. I definitely was feeling like right there though. It's just so hard to go hard up 13,000 feet again. The last time up to 13,000 feet, I don't know, what is that? I don't know how many times you go over that way, but it's a lot.
I can feel it today.
Yeah, you feel it in your lungs.
Ooh.
Yeah, check out that. I have some essential oil my wife gave me for that though. It works. It clears it up quicker than just letting it naturally run.
Sort itself out.
Yeah, that's one thing about Hardrock. You get a little bit of hacking sometimes.
Oh yeah. Little inflammation in the lungs, not just in the muscles.
Little pulmonary edema or something.
At the finish line, you had said that if there was 100-mile race you would like to win, it would be Hardrock.
Yeah, I think out of all my wins, this one's the most special, especially since it's I don't know. This was an early influence on me. I came here in 2007, so 5 years into running ultras. Now I've been doing it 18 years. Yeah. So like that, for me, like just to have that in the list, is pretty special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations to you on your win.
Thank you.
And you've got recovery to do and another couple hundreds to run this year.
I do. So, a couple more on the schedule. Yeah.
Happy recovery.
Thank you. Yeah.